Can.
Is that first half maybe the hottest you've felt this offense in your time here so far?
Yeah, I mean, it was like every time we went out there, similar to Kansas, like we just have a sense of confidence about us that we're going to find a way to just continue to convert and move the chains and, find a way to put points on the board. The first half was very fun and we were moving the ball at will, it seemed like. And then they came out in the second half and made a ton of adjustments. And obviously it's kind of that fine line of you're trying to manage the clock and all that stuff that goes into it. But, we end up finding a way to pull it out, and that's a massive win.
How about the feeling before you throw to Goody and things are getting kind of tight there, then that opens up the game and you're able to breathe a little bit?
Yeah, we had, a little bit of adversity going against us, just with everything going on. And then, finally to hit a big one and kind of open it back up was a really good feeling. So the feeling was definitely better after, Goody crossed the plane for sure.
Did you finally overthrow him?
Yeah, I did. I got onto him on the sideline too. It looked like he was kind of jogging early on. I got on him. I said, Goody, that's just never supposed to happen. I'm never supposed to be able to overthrow you. So I gave him a hard time about it. And, luckily we got it back later in the game.
I asked Caleb this, but what were the conversations and communication like from you on the sideline during that second half when you're coming off such a high-powered first half? What are you telling the guys to stay up?
We just got to find a way to, get back to our first half mentality, because obviously there was some stuff going against us. You had the option fumble. That's just, out of character for us, as a team. We pride ourselves on not turning the ball over, and, that's the type of stuff that, we know that we can't have. Right after, mistakes like that and, just 3 and outs, whatever it may be, we just got to, lock it back in and find a way to get a drive going and go put points on the board.
Brendan, on one of the opening drives when Tawi runs that guy over, you kind of turned to the student section and pumped him up a little bit. Just your thoughts on Tawi running that guy over, and then what's your thought on the environment this afternoon?
The environment was great, much needed. I think it was a huge factor in this win. And then, that was an unbelievable truck, and one of the best, if probably the best that I've ever seen. It was unbelievable, so props to Tawi for sure.
Brendan, last year you guys lost a lot of tough games. It's felt like this week and last week were 2 games that you guys would have likely lost last season. What's different about this year?
Just the culture is, 100% established, it seems like. We believe in each other to go make the plays. We believe in, each unit out there to pick each other up if one of them is struggling. And then, I think just the leadership just across the team. It doesn't have to just be the captains. It can literally be anybody on the team. And, we trust each other wholeheartedly, and, we're willing to go out there and do whatever it takes to win.
A big part of composure, obviously, Brendan, a big part of winning is composure, I should say. When those penalties happen, and it looked like, I think you had 3 first downs called back in 5 snaps, how did you guys manage to keep your composure?
It was just little mistakes, and that's just something that you can fix. So that was what we preached on the sideline was, hey, if we have this play called, you cannot do this. Like, it just is what it is. And we got that fixed immediately. And, it's unfortunate to have 3 penalties in 5 plays, but the response that we had was very impressive. I'm very proud of our team for it.
How important is the contribution of the O-line? They've already gotten a lot of back plays from the conference already the last couple of weeks, and they're presumably extension again. But their ability to let you and the other skill players be able to perform, especially as that late game situation.
Yeah, no, they're balling right now up front. Not allowing much pressure at all. Giving me the time that I need, and then clearing some run lanes for our backs and even myself. So, very proud of those guys up front, and going to continue to treat them well for sure.
Was there anything kind of that was off with your kind of downfield accuracy today? Was there anything that you kind of felt, or was it just one of those days where you only throw the ball 25 times? It can't be necessarily right on point every 25 throw set.
Not necessarily, either of those. I would say just more so we knew that they were going to be bailing, so just trying to put it out there more. Didn't really want to underthrow anything. So, that could have a little bit to do with the overthrows. And then, like you said, we have some serious speed, so just trying to put it out there for the guys and let them go make plays. And then, just got to clean up a little bit of stuff in the pocket. Getting a little antsy, on a couple of snaps that ended up leading to some high throws. But other than that, I feel like it was a really clean game offensively, besides the turnover and a couple of missed throws. I feel like we executed really well.
Brendan, week 1, you just missed a potential game-winning touchdown. Today, you hit that touchdown to Caleb that effectively sealed the game. What part of your progression, your ascension this season do you attribute to hit that game game-sealing play this week the most too?
I would say just, our belief in each other, the staff's belief in me. Everybody knew, after that loss to Nebraska on the road, as a home game, but on the road, we believed that we could still go achieve everything that was in front of us. It was a tough loss, not the way we wanted to go out. We played about as bad as we could have, shot ourselves in the foot time and time again. And whenever the opportunity presented itself, we had a mistake, an interception. It felt good to get it back this week, and just continue to trust my guys. I'm going to give them chances to go make plays, and I have full trust in them to go make those plays. So props to Goody for putting it away for us today, and got to keep this thing rolling.
If you were completely honest on that third down completion to Noah on the right side, do you think you deserve the credit for the throw, or does he deserve the credit for the catch?
Oh, he deserves credit for the catch. Like, that's not even a quarterback. We had not repped that at all throughout the week. So that was just one of those, just playing ball moments. Great catch by him. I honestly couldn't really tell. He was so close to the sideline. I was like, we got to go. We got to get a play off just in case. And I kind of peeked up at the Jumbotron. I was like, all right, no, we're good. So unbelievable catch by him, and, it was a huge conversion for us.
When the Red Sea parted there on that fourth down play, did I see a high step into the end zone?
Yeah, I did, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude!" I think I couldn't remember if they've been strict on a little bit of a little showboating if it was gonna get called back. So I tried to reel it back in really quick. I was like, I started feeling myself, and I haven't had it's just so tough to have that much grass to run through. So yeah, no, I started high stepping for sure, and then started feeling myself. I was like, all right, calm it down, Brendan. So we brought it back.
You have really improved so much from last year. I don't know what the trick is, but every week, like you said, I just see the difference. It's wonderful. But there's a rumor going around that you take the O-line to Ruby's. Is that true?
That is very true, and that could be why they do like me a lot more whenever I'm feeding them. So I'm going to continue to do that. Like I said, no, they're doing a great job, and they're a huge reason for our success right now. Probably the biggest reason, honestly. Whenever you're protected and you don't ever fall behind the chains too much, it's really easy to continue to move the chains and stay ahead of them and go put points on the board. So props to those guys. I'm going to continue to take good care of them.
Yanni.
I was just gonna say, when you go to Ruby's, which lineman's eating the most food? Who's taking the most from you on those trips?
They're all usually pretty equal. They just forget completely about the value of a U.S. dollar. You know what I'm saying? They usually just start going crazy. So we're just going to call it 5 across the board, pretty even. They lose all train of thought whenever it comes to ordering. So those boys pretty much get whatever they want. So they're spoiled for sure whenever they walk into Ruby's.
Any other questions for Brendan? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, brother.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.